Hello Booktube. For this Tag Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the Booktube Paris Tag. This tag was created by Jim of Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, and it is the sibling tag to the Booktube London tag that Jim created last week. So all of the prompts relate to the city of Paris. And I'll leave a link to his original video in the show notes down below. Prompt number 1. What was the last book you read set in Paris? For sure, the last book I read that featured Paris was King of the World by Phillip Mansel. It is a biography of King Louis XIV that situates Louis XIV's reign in a global context, although also focusing on France itself, the Bourbon dynasty, the building of Versailles, that sort of thing. It's a wonderful book that I really enjoyed, even as when I was reading it, it was a rather difficult time. There is also the possibility that Maria Theresa by Barbra Stollberg-Rilinger, the biography of Maria Theresa, that there are parts of it set in Paris, particularly the chapters focusing on Maria Antonia, more commonly known as Marie Antoinette. But then also those chapters might actually have set more in Versailles, which, while near Paris, I don't think quite counts. So I would go with King of the World, but I will leave both King of the World and Maria Theresa in the show notes, or the books mentioned part of the show notes. Prompt number 2. What words can't be translated into English? A whole lot, I think. But not necessarily coming off the top of my head at the moment. Question number 3. Do you have a favorite book in translation? Most of my manga, but going with a more novel or, actually, now that I think about it, Tombstone by Jisheng and The World Turned Upside Down, also by Jisheng. Those are two fantastic works of Chinese history by a Chinese historian, translated into English. Also, there's The Culture of the Third Reich by Moritz Wilmer, I think. That was really quite good. And of course, The Legend of the Condor Heroes by Jian. It's amazing work in translation. And the various poetry collections of Wisława Szymborska that I have in translation. And again, a good chunk of the manga I have are favorites too, but I'll focus on those set of books. Prompt number 4. Have you read books in other languages? Unfortunately, no. The only language I have a really good reading is English. I had a smattering of Spanish in high school that I never really used, so I've never really been able to read in Spanish or any other language. Although I would like to, but I haven't. Question number 5. Jules Verne studied law in Paris. Or studied law in Paris. Okay. Do you have a favorite book by Jules Verne? No. I've never actually read Jules Verne. I do have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but never got around to it, or haven't yet. Actually, I'm not entirely sure where it is. Question number 6. Do you have a favorite movie set in Paris? When the Cat's Away. It's a mid-90s French movie about a young woman living in Paris who's, I think she's either house sitting or cat sitting when the cat she's babysitting goes missing. And so she basically goes throughout her neighborhood looking for the cat, and as she looks for the cat, she really becomes enmeshed in the community, who are like the neighborhood, which is composed of a whole slew of interesting and quirky individuals, until eventually she finds the cat who was stuck behind the refrigerator. But it's a really good movie. Any other films set in Paris that I really like? Not really. My foreign film watching has been spotty the last few years, largely because it's rather difficult to get really good foreign film on broadcast, which is a rant for another day. Prompt number 6. Do you have a favorite French car? No. Question number 8. Have you been to Paris? When was the last time you visited Paris? Unfortunately, I've never been to Paris, although I would love to go. Prompt number 9. Do you have a favorite French painter or painting set in Paris? There's Monet, and I think Renoir, and there's a lot of French painters I'm quite fond of. Question number 10. Do you have a favorite French writer? For lack of a better choice, and largely because his work's the only one that I've really read at all extensively, I'll have to go with Michel Foucault. He was a French philosopher, historian, literary critic who was part of the post-structuralist movement, and I've read quite a few of his works, particularly when I was younger as an English lit major in college. I really enjoyed his Discipline and Punish and Madness and Civilization, I think, are the two I've read. I've also read History of Sexuality Volume 1, which not as impressed with as the other two. I think I might have read another one of his books, but I'm not sure. Although I would like to read more French literature, both nonfiction and fiction, although I would love to have some translated French history in my collection, because I have a bit of a sweet tooth for histories written by people like, I guess, I'm not entirely sure how to say it, but sort of like a French historian writing about French history, or German historian writing about German history, that sort of thing. And finally, who do I tag? If you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. So that was the Booktube Paris Tag. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow with another video, and if not, then definitely I will be back Friday with a weekly read. So until then, Booktube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.